Hi guys, it's Sharon with Little Britain Company, and oh, look at the shadows. Oh my goodness, a lot of shadows today. I'm at my sewing table, and I had promised that I would do a few really quick and easy Christmas presents that you all can make, and so I'm going to do that. I am going to do that, and I'm going to start with something that I made before. I have a video out on how to take our dryer mats and turn them into these really pretty. You can use them for placemats. You can use them. We keep them on the table. Ours, we use them as a hot pad, and that is completely up to you. The back side is absolutely polyester. This is polyester. But I use cotton on the front, and we have not had any problems. So, that's kind of an at your own risk. Please, please, please. Okay, so I wanted to go ahead. As you can see, I'm taking all of the bits off with you. But the reason I'm doing that is because there's so many tiny pieces on here, and you have to kind of get them all. So I'm going to give you a few tips. This is one of the dryer mats, of course, from Dollar Tree, if if you didn't know. And I'm going to do this fairly quickly because it really is a quickie thing. So I'm getting rid of that. I'll sew onto this side. One thing I like to do is kind of take a look and see how uneven it is. And often you'll see like the top and bottom isn't too bad. You can kind of see that's just not too bad. But the sides are quite off. So I'm going to do a quick little trim of the sides. I know this, I don't worry too much about it. I'm going to do a quick trim of these sides. And that really will mostly straighten up your issues on this side. I'm not going to worry about the back side of it right now, because if I try to even the two, I'm going to be stuck sitting down and really, doing a whole lot of squaring. So if you can see what I'm doing here, I know lots of shadows. I wasn't able to move my lights over for you, which is kind of a pain. So you can see this side. I ended up, look at that. Look at that crazy wedge. Holy cow. So I'm getting a lot of shadows, and I apologize for that. This is relatively straight. And again, I just don't worry too much about it. When it's done, it's pretty hard to tell that it's not straight. If it's not, certainly the top and bottom is a little bit not perfect, but this is actually not bad. Okay, so that's step number one. Taking a quick look at that one. And I know if you look at the back, it looks completely wonky. Step two is deciding, probably should have said we're doing a dryer mat, is deciding what you're going to use on it. So I have picked this kind of series here. And what I've decided I want to do, and I probably need a longer strip of this one. Should have done that beforehand. So I'm going to go through and pick from, this is just a pack of these pretty off-whites. I'm going to show you another trick soon. So I wanted to do a full piece. Just grab them. Okay. I wanted to do some full pieces so you could see from, this is from a jelly roll. You can just see the whole effect. I will do a quick iron of these before we do anything. So for this one, you can do this two ways. Right now with this particular mat, I'm only picking 5 different fabrics. If I wanted to do the whole mat and it's very patchworky in different strips, I would need 9. That's generally the number you need. Okay, and I already have them. I know what kind of order I want them in. I'm just going to pull this guy. This is quick and kind of loosey-goosey. So I'm just going to do a quick little run over with the iron. If you want to, those are pretty deep. That's just water, by the way. So I'm just going to do a little, get out those bad wrinkles. It's pretty good bag. And no, seriously, this is a very quick thing to make. And the effect, I think, is pretty awesome. I really love this. This is not my original idea. I just wish I could remember or find where I got the idea online. There was a woman who was doing these, and she was amazing. I will continue to hunt for that video. And maybe I'll be able to find it and share it with you. Okay. And this one's not too bad. That one I'm just going to do nothing big. Nothing big. Okay, so I really am very lazy when I do these. I really am. So I'm going to take them by this side. I need for what I'm doing, I'm going to need 2 strips each from these 4 fabrics. I'll show you. I'll do that one in a minute. And from this one, I only need 1 strip. Those shadows are so bad. I'm so sorry about that. I will get other lights in for the next time I do sewing. Maybe. That just depends on if Big Brit is got a few minutes to help me out. So I just take it, I lay it across this mat. I'm eyeballing here. I want to make sure I give myself some extra room because this selvage right here, some of it's fine. I mean, I just don't really want to include the selvage. These are an amazing pair of scissors. Birtic, BIHRTC, number 9. Maybe it's number 6. Yep, it's number 9. I'm pretty sure I got these off of Temu. They are amazing, and be very careful if you buy some because they can really cut your finger off if you really aren't careful. All right, so I give myself about, you can see I have my my mat below. We'll measure. I'm giving myself about 1 inch, just going right across. Lazy. I'm lazy. And then I have all of this left to do something else with. Put that over here. Put this over here. I'm opening it back up to the one that I had already somewhat evened out. And I'm going to, oh, I'm not even close, Sharon. Look at that. Should have done that first. Okay, that just tells me again how really off this one is. So we're just going to even it up. I'm just going to even that up because that is crazy off. Really. That's better. That's going to be a little bit smaller than I normally do, but still perfectly fine. Okay. But again, I'm when I say I don't worry about it too much, I don't worry about it too much. If you are someone who really likes things very, very precise, you're going to want to measure it out, and really pay closer attention than I am to your sizing. Just, you can square these mats if you want to. So this is the one I'm going to have in the middle. I only need one of these for the middle. I am going to take this guy. I'm going to mostly align him right there. I mean, it's just good enough. then, can you see everything? Yeah, I think so. So then I'm going to take these guys. Quick tip, if you're not familiar with this, when you have jelly rolls and things that have this, where they've used the pinking shears, you're going to have a ton of bits and pieces coming off of that. So I keep one of these around. You can see I've been using it already, but I just roll it across my mat, for, a few times. Sometimes you just roll it across those, and you're going to pick up, that's not a bad idea to do this right now. You're just going to pick up all of that lovely little mess. Now, if you really want to be precise, and sometimes when I get to this stage, I want to be more precise just because I don't want things to not be straight. So sometimes I will take a few pins. Notice that I'm laying these front to front. Front to front. I'm just going to take a couple of pins and put them just like that. Easy peasy. And I just realized that I need to change the thread in my sewing machine. All right, this is going to be easy peasy. I am going to do approximately a 1/4 inch, but because I can't see my 1/4 inch on here, I kind of know where my 1/4 inch is. I'm just going to go along the edge. That's just easier. And I'm just going to start, I'm actually starting over the top of this. So when I get down here, I do like to resituate it. Y'all know how funky fabric can be. First one is done. Look at that. So, like this. And here is, now this is just what I like to do. I am going to pin down my next 2 pieces. Like I said, you don't always have to pin. I don't always pin. But sometimes I do. Sometimes I do. So I'm just going to grab this one. Can y'all see how fast this is going to go? It's just so nice. You can see, anytime you pin, it really does sometimes do a number on what you're pinning. Okay, so I've got that one down. This one, and I know this seems a little weird, I'm going to just pull it out just a wee bit. And the reason I'm pulling it out is I don't want it to bunch up when I start sewing. And I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put this piece down on this side. I know this seems strange. There is a method to my madness, which is I like to do to flip sides. It does, for whatever reason, have a tendency to keep things just a wee bit straighter. The only problem with flipping sides on this side is sometimes I run afoul of the needles. I don't like that. All right, so once again, we're gonna grab this. Let's do that. Hopefully you're seeing all of my steps. Oh, let me knock stuff over first. Okay, and back. Here we go with the sewing machine. Try to get an even better angle, although my hands might get in the way. Okay, so with this one, I'm flipping it. I'm flipping it around. And I'm going to do it on this side. Yeah, you can see how easy it would be to poke yourself. So don't poke yourself. Don't be like me. I do just a tack back, back stitch. I just am not worried about doing anything major. I'm taking that out of the way before I really stab myself. I just go over the edge. So I'm done on that side. Oh, what am I doing here? There we go. Looks like it caught up. Normally I would just switch it. One of those is something funky. Oh, all right, but it's okay in the back. All right, so that one. And I want to show you the back. You can't even see where I've stitched. Not really. You'll be able to see like the indentation of it. Let me pull that down. And this one. Yeah, I really do pull that off. Kind of. Gotta watch these like a hawk. And off. And now I will also say I have normally I have my side table out and I'm not moving my machine back and forth, but for right now it seems like it's prudent. All right, here's where I've got a few things down. I'm just going to grab my iron and I'm going to make sure that I'm getting these moved over the way I want them to. Because like I said, I don't want them to bunch up and that actually is, I've had it happen. I was going to say, ask me how I know that's a problem. So I generally do not iron over the top of this one. Oh, I think Big Brick just went outside. Okay. And again, and honestly, you don't have to pin them both at the same time the way I do. I just think it's quicker. I kind of move things along quick. Just in my opinion. So, that one's bent. I will also say, because I've had this happen, be careful when you have these. You can kind of see how this could easily push itself too far to the side and you may not be catching your fabric underneath. So just from someone who's done it, who's actually done that. Also with this very light colored, you just have to be careful to make sure that you're using the correct side. I'm going to pin that one down real quick, and then we'll sew again. And move this guy up. What a process. going to be super careful to make sure, get rid of that weird wonky one, to make sure that I am keeping that bottom fabric in place. Here. Things being silly. There we go. And I'm not going to worry as much about this one. That's what I wanted to do last time, just switch it around. Not cut it, not mess with it, just turn it. And I want to be very careful not to stick myself with the pins. I'm going to try not to stick myself with the pins. I laugh because, you know, sometimes that is easier said than done. So, we just watched Red One again, this time on TV, because it is already out of the theaters and on TV. And I have to throw a plug in for it because the critics panned it and people didn't go to see it. I quite enjoyed it. I did. I thought it was fun. I mean, you know, it's what it is, but I enjoyed it. I'm just saying, if you have Prime and you have an evening where you want to watch a little kind of action-y Christmassy, because I really, really like Chris Evans as an actor. I like Dwayne Johnson usually. So, okay, so you can see I've got my middle and I'm coming out. This one's a little bit ahead of the other one, and that always happens. You're always going to have one that's going to be a little bit ahead of the other if you do it the way I'm doing it right now. But it goes pretty quick. I just realized too, I'm going to just flip this thing. Cameras can be so funky. So I did my quick ironing. Don't always want to go in. And then on the ends, I'm going to have this pretty one. And I just kind of went from a lighter to a darker. Just because. And it's not going to be a perfect fit. That's okay. If the ones on the end up being thinner, that's okay. It's unusual what happened today about having to go back and fix it because it was so wonky. That's actually new. I had to do that. So, of course, the minute I'm filming it, I'm going to have something new to deal with. You know, that is the way of the sewing, isn't it? Okay, get that stuff out of the way. This side. Gracious. I never like to leave that second one in. I always like to pull it because I feel like my fabric is going to be wonky. There are people out there who are going to look at what I'm doing, and they're going to find the mistakes in my sewing. I am not a professional seamstress. Just making sure everybody knows it. Not like anyone wouldn't know that. But, you know, I just want to make it clear I am not a professional seamstress. So if you see a mistake in my work, yeah, you're probably right. but that's okay. I'm a crafter. I enjoy it, and my work, I think, is okay. Even when I make mistakes, I think for most of us, I think it's hard to see those mistakes other than, us. We always see our mistakes, and we are always, our own worst critics, I think, which is a shame. But, I'm excited to show you all, and my next video is going to be, I want to show you some of the things that wonderful Kate gave me for Christmas, and some of the things and for my birthday, and some of the things that she made. She is just such an incredible artist, and she's always working on new skills and doing new things, and I'm just so impressed. I'm just so impressed. Okay, this one's actually going to be fairly close. I'll show you that in a minute, because we're going to do our last one over on this side. You can see how it's just really taken shape. Pretty nice and easy. It's pretty nice and easy. I don't know how much time we're in. Not too long. Okay. Now, what I will say is the next step is a much longer step. So this is all really very quick. Border. The border is what takes me the longest, because I do my own. I make my own border, and you don't have to. If this is what you do here, and then you have a nice long strip of border, and you want to use that, then you're going to be good to go. Then you just add your border, and you are good to go. I am going to do my border. I'll show you how I do mine. I do like to piece it together a little bit. And, I am a firm believer of everybody should do what they like to do. In crafting. I don't think any of us can ever really just do what we want to do. I don't know if you see this. I pulled this side up a little bit because I've got a little bit of fabric sitting to the side, which I should have moved, so I could have had more easy access. But I didn't, so now I've got to just pull it over a little bit. It does, I think, make it a little easier to move. This is the last week of school before the holidays, and each day we had different things going on. So today you dressed either all in red like Santa or all in green like the Grinch. I don't have enough green, so just Santa. Okay, there we go. I'm going to pull that up a little bit so you can see most of it, hopefully. That's about as high up as it goes. Okay, so you can see that I've got everything down. I'm going to flip it over, and there's not a whole lot left on my sides here. So we came pretty close. We do have a lot here. This is what this is for. This is what this is for. Let me clean that up a little bit. Now, I told you I was going to be lazy, and I really am. Because when I get to this stage, let me get that one out of there. I'm just going to do that real quick. Okay, when I get to this stage, I don't think you can't see what I'm doing. I'm just doing this. I'm not worried about precision. It's not going to matter. once I put the border on. There you go. Now, I do hold on to these. I have some thoughts about what I'm going to do to them, but, you know, guys, it's pretty small. So I'm going to do the exact same thing over here. I'm just getting rid of that extra, because there's extra. Now, do this. Do. And it doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter whether it's even a little bit sloppy, as long as I don't go in. Move that out of the way. Oh, I picked up some more. Move that out of the way. I'm very carefully going to close these. What I learned is if I wasn't, it actually caught. If you can see that right there, I was closing these up and it caught my mat here, and I actually got it, which I was quite surprised at. Okay, so this is something you can see. It's a little bit, but you know, it's not neat. It doesn't need to be. It's no one's ever going to see it again. You all get to be the only seers. Okay, so let's do this. I'm going to do this. Now, this is a step that I do like to take because I think that this just helps me. I just think this helps. But it's not as easy as it looks sometimes. All right, I'm going to move this guy back. I just want to do... I'm going to use the my finger just to tell me where this is. I'm not even going to backstitch on it. I am just going to keep going. The other thing that I'm doing, I'm stitching it down just to make it easier for myself. But I'm also kind of pulling it over a little bit. So if I've done my job right, that stitch, you won't be able to see it once I put my my border on. Hopefully I've done it right. And I'm going to do that on this side too. Anyway, like I said, I'm pulling it over just a wee bit as I do it. Because I just kind of need to. I want to make sure that I don't bunch. And again, there is nothing about this that needs to be perfect. I mean, unless you like your things to be perfect, which many people do, I suppose. Okay, so I've got those both sewed down. And I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to get rid of my excess. And you can see where I had a little bit more excess up here. And you can also see I just didn't bother with, yeah, that's pretty nice. It really goes to this one. With a lot of squaring. But I don't want the excess, because it's going to get in my way. Careful of your fingers. Ooh, that stuff. I love those scissors though. Okay. Now again, if you don't want to do the border, or I think there are lots of different ways to do borders. I'm going to do my border my way. but you can kind of see I've tacked that down. Now, so again, if you just wanted to see how to do this, this is it. This is, it's so simple. The border is going to take a little bit longer. So if you want to hang out with me to do the border, please feel free. But easy peasy. So for the border, I'm going to pick just some fabrics that I want to go around it. I usually pick 2 fabrics, sometimes more, but I usually just pick 2 fabrics that I'm going to use around it. And today I think I'm going to go with, since I made this a little bit Christmassy, but it could also be, you know, for any time of the year. It's really just the reds and whites. I thought it would be fun for Christmassy stuff. I'm going to grab maybe one of those. I don't really like to use the same ones. I like to mix it up a little bit. Here's one. I like that one. Can you see it's kind of like a Swiss dot? So bad about this. All right, that one's a bit of a Swiss dot. I like that one. Let's see if I can find a different red to go around my border. I've got, I'm not showing you all, this kind of ridiculous, humongous pile of pieces that I've been sewing with. Because it is kind of a ridiculous pile of pieces I've been sewing with. I don't know. I kind of like that one. So this is, again, like I said, this is longer. So I wonder how that would look along the top. I kind of like this pink with it. It pulls in this. I'm going to go with this one. I know it's a little unusual. It doesn't really, it may detract a little bit from the holiday theme, but it's good. I've already seen people, I've already been in stores where they are pulling back their Christmas and putting out Valentine. And I'm like, why? It is not even Christmas Day. Why? That just about drives me nuts. All right, so I do want to give this a quick, honestly, really, really quick. This is my little Cricut. All right, put that to the side. I am not interested in perfect. So not interested in perfect. So I do use, this is pretty good. I don't know if this needs a whole lot. I do use 2 strips. These are, because they're full strips, this should be about 42 inches. Not going to worry too much about that because I know that it's going to be approximate. It's going to be close enough for me. And then I'm going to take these and I'm going to cut them in half. Because I just kind of like that look. I think it's just a really pretty look. To do this little bit of mix and match here. Okay, so to do mine, and I still have red on the bottom, and again, I'm honestly not worried about it at the moment. I'm not gonna think about it too much at the moment. So this is the top of this one. I have to be careful to make sure I don't want to lose too much fabric. I know that I want to sew from this corner across. I'm going to remind people, I'm not a seamstress. So if you think that if I'm doing something funky, I just wish it wasn't so dark. And all of these shadows, I really need better lighting over here. Okay, anyway, so I know that I'm going to sew across here. And I do like to, that's not lined up the way I want it. I do try to be lined up relatively straight before I pin it. And this is how I keep it straight. I know that I'm going to have my, kind of my short side over here. I'm going to sew from that, and I'm going to make sure that my pin goes kind of away. I don't know how to put it, that in that direction, and that helps me remember that I'm going this way. But because I don't want to spend forever doing this, I'm going to do it like this. And I'm not going to include that little selvage there. So that one's kind of crooked there. And I'm going to do that. And this. And again, if you're doing it this way, please make sure that you know which side is the top and which side's the bottom. It's bottom. And that you're putting the pretty sides together. Oh, come on, there's got to be a better way to do this. So I'm putting the pretty sides together. Oh, slightly better. Okay. Next, I'm going to pull my sewing machine back in. That's not well. I need someone to do the filming for me because I know this is just a hot mess right now. All right, make sure that you get it in the right way. I have this tape down, and it does help me. I'm going to do something that a lot of people don't do. I'm putting my needle all the way down. If you can see, I just put my needle actually into the machine because I use it to help make sure I'm right at the corner. And then right here, my other corner, I want that red line to be coming right out of it. That's just my process. And then I'm pulling it. And then I go a little bit slow and off the edge. Then I'm going to keep doing that. But I have to make sure. I just keep checking, honestly. Yeah, that's right. This little Swiss dot is a pain. It really, really is. Okay, I'm going to pick up again, putting my needle in. My process. Don't come for me. Oh, what am I doing? Trying to go backwards. Lined it up. I don't know why I like to do that there. I don't do it on the other end. Just the way I do it. And then this one. My needle's already down. Not all the way down, but it's down. It's down enough. It helps me feel my corner. Let me get that where it should be. And I'm just not even going to back tag on that one. This one might be off a little bit. I was too close to the corner. But am I going to worry about it? I am not. It'll be fine. All right. Let's get that out of the way before I cut anything off. I'm going to make sure that I did this right. All right. So that's not bad. I got that one. And we've got this one. I honestly, guys, I am just checking to make sure that they're going in the right direction, right? That it's all going to turn into one nice strip. And I can see here what I did. You know, I came in too low, so that is off a little bit, but it's just going to be fine. Now, I take these and get rid of that. Kind of see. It's not too bad, actually. I feel like this pink one might have been a little bit bigger than the white one. Hate it when that happens. Out the way. Yeah, I think the pink one's a little bit bigger. That's interesting. And I'll just act accordingly as I start to put this together. And there. That one. Let's get the gross stuff. Oh yeah, I'm constantly. You see what I started off with a fresh one. Okay. Out of the way. Now, I am going to go through and I'm going to sew this down towards the darker. Well, generally well, no, I don't want to do it that way. I want to do it this way. For this one, I want to go ahead and do it like that. Either way is fine, but this will make it more even. But this is a very, you know, on the smaller projects, it's not quite the same big deal. You know? Here we go. And that one. I was very tempted to use some of that very pretty fabric that I had recently gotten from Temu. I'm pretty mad at Temu right now. I'll tell you in the next Temu video why. But I wanted to show you one where this is one that you could use, or at least that we would use. But I don't want to give people false information. This is one that we would use for hot pad for us. Okay. Now, next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold it over. And iron. I'm going to try to get it. I do like to get these about as even as I can get them. So I'm going to go with the pink, and I'm using that as my guide. I say that because I need the white to be pretty approximate to the pink. I have this little thing hanging over. It's driving me nuts because it catches. So I just go ahead. Yeah, that pink is really interesting there. It's gonna be, I have not actually had that happen before. But when you sew, and of course, if I'm doing a video, trust me, if you're doing a video, that's when you will find the weirdest things will happen to you. but it's all good, because these are things that can happen to anyone. Now, I had someone talk to me once about cutting on the bias for these. Sure, you can do that. But personally, I'm not going to cut them out. This is an easy way to do it. I like easy. Okay. Let's see how I'm going to start this one. I'm actually going to get rid of this little... I just knocked over my purple thingy. Well, even if it's pink. Okay. And I'm actually going to be doing my my initial stitch down on this side. And normal wisdom says you would sew it on the other side and then tack it down on the back side. I don't do that for these just because. For me, I find this a lot easier and I get a better product than if I try to do it the other way around. Let's go ahead and do this. I'm not changing my threads. I'm going to keep my red down below, because when I turn it over and when I'm doing stitching the top, I want the red underneath, because that's going to hide any imperfections. And I gave myself, you can see, I gave myself a really big lip here, so that when I come down and around, I will be able to connect my pieces. So this is how I do it. There's a couple ways to do it. I have a tendency to just, shockingly, I want to go quick. So, oh, that's also not what I want to do. Let's pull those stitches out. Let's pull that out a little bit. Okay, third time's a charm. I'm going to go up to this corner, and I'm going to get to about 1/4 inch. Then I'm going to swivel, and I'm going to sew off. Then I'm going to take this guy and I'm going to fold it up, getting it pretty even. And we're going to stick it back in. At about 1/4 inch. And away we go. And I'm just going to keep paying attention to making sure I keep it approximately at 1/4 inch. Pretty close there. I just eyeball it. Now, there are certainly things you can do to be precise. You can put a pin in at the 1/4 inch at each side or each corner, just to be positive that you're getting the exact 1/4 inch. And I did used to do that, but it's time consuming. So I have a tendency to not do it anymore. All right for me. You can see this is really going together. The border is going together pretty quickly. sorry, I'm gonna stop for 1 second and clean up an edge I have over here. Was bothering me. But do pay attention. This is just not a step that's good to rush with. This is one of those things. Now with this one, because I have this weirdness going on here, I'm paying attention way down here. Because I know where that is down there. Yeah, don't buckle. Don't buckle. Let me get it. Is that close? I feel like that's... Oh, no, it's okay. That might be just 1 stitch more. Let's go in a stitch. Now I can turn. And get this guy. It's a lot of putting this in place. So tomorrow is plaid day at school. And I actually bought, we don't really wear plaid, not a lot. So I bought Little Brit and myself some plaid, bigger plaid shirts last year, especially for Little Brit, who's growing like a weed. So that this year, when we did plaid days, and we've done, this will be our second one, we would have plaid to wear. Come on. Gotta move it every 5 seconds. That's good. Now, there we go. So here's what happened. I was filming and I was filming and I was filming, and I did not realize that the my phone had stopped. It was done. So, but I did show you a little bit about what we were doing, what I had done. So, once I had my, border primed and cut ready, I sewed it to the back. You can see. Now, that's really pretty, and my quilters out there are going to say, no, you should have sewn it. You should have sewn that to the front. And I get that. I do. But what I have found is on these small projects, it is a lot better for me to sew, to the back and then to move to the front. So you can kind of see where I attach. I think that's the one thing that I didn't get to show you guys, how I attach. But I'll do another border one at some point in time. Let's go ahead and finish sewing this together, because the last thing that I have to do is just sew this on. So I do have red in my bobbin. Stay. Move you over here. Okay. So I'm going to move that down because that's going to be on the bottom, and that's truly what I want, is for this not to be tremendously apparent on the bottom. One thing I do, this is one, because normally I don't like to pen and do a whole lot of that. I'm a quicker, I like to go quicker. With this one, I do put a whole lot of these in. I don't use pens because I find pens distort things a little bit, but I do go ahead and clip kind of everything. That one's backwards. Because I find that it gives me a better, I just have a better feel of where everything is and where it needs to stay. So on the top, I kept my off-white. This is not my favorite way to do this. I do not. You don't want to see that. Let's see if we can rearrange this a little bit so you can see what I'm sewing. I have to, for this to kind of work for me, I have to sew on the inside. I don't like doing it that way. I could do it the other way. I'm gonna do it this way. I don't like doing it this way. Nope, nope, I'm doing it this way. This is how I normally do it. I'm gonna do it the way I normally do it, even though I find that it's a pain. And I'm going to get pretty much as close as I can get. Some of you, I'm sure, are a lot better at this than I am. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I'm gonna get it. Hello, everybody. Yep, peeking his head in. That good man is actually making the breakfast casserole for my team's brunch tomorrow. That's what he's doing. He's a good man. I'll probably have to turn it on. No wonder it's not going anywhere. How's that? Oh, that's so much better. Sorry. All right. So I'm gonna tack. I am really not gonna go fast. I'm just not. Fast on this is not my friend. And right about here, I'm going to use my thingy. These are called purple thingies, but this one's not a purple thingy. What it's doing is it's helping me further off than I wanted it to. Maintain a little bit there. Okay, this is all I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and finish sewing around this, and I will show you the finished product. I wanted to kind of show you guys, I'm almost done with this. I've just been working on it for a minute. I wanted to show you that. It's just the nature of fabric and how it works sometimes. But when it starts to come up, when it starts to move around on you, that little purple thingy, or, you know, pink thingy, is your best friend. Because I'm going to just keep pushing the fabric flat and not letting the fabric control the narrative here. Almost at the end. I'm going to show you how I do my corner. Oh, okay. I can already see that I'm going to have to do this again right here. And I'm not lifting the foot. Lifting the foot could be bad. Really, I just catch. And I want to go slow because I want to land exactly that out of the way, so you can kind of see where my corner, how we did. I'll be very careful with these again because, and I've looked back at my Temu orders and I cannot find, I have a lot of Temu orders. All right, ready? Here we go. That is the finished product. Oh, see, I caught a little bit there. I hate that. I may actually, so I want to show you, this is what happens if you're not paying close enough attention. What I will probably do is rip out a few of those little stitches, go back and pull that over and just fix that so it's flat. But this is why I do it this way, because it would be much more difficult for me to catch it and do what I need to do. And on the back, because I used the red thread on the back, you just can't even tell. But if you got really, really close, let's see if we can get really close enough. Can you see where where it actually came? Let me use my red thingy. That's where it actually stitched across. So it was catching in the front. That's where it stitched across. So I prefer doing it this way. For me, it's just easier because I'm okay. I'm no slouch, but I am not the most talented at borders. They are the bane of my existence. Not really. That little piece might be. All right, and look at this. I'm going to zoom you guys in again. Look at that. Holy cow. It's like, I mean, if you run your hand across it, it wasn't picking anything up because it is very much like a piece of fabric at this point. So we're going to rip that off. I'm going to run over this one more time. Get it nice and neat. That's better. Ugh. Piece down there. And done. So I hope you enjoyed this. That really goes pretty fast, about an hour. You can make these in about an hour if you are faster. So, and I was actually showing you all a lot of things along the way. I can do these a lot faster when I am batching them. So just a final message about batching them. When I do batches of these, I'll find the mats, I'll match up the fabric, and then I'll cut all the fabric pieces and I will wrap them in the mat so that they're ready for when I grab that particular mat. And then I will decide what my border is going to be, and I'll go ahead and I will sew up my border. And I'll get that prepped and ready, and that goes in here. Actually, that goes to the side because I usually wrap it around something. And then I'll grab a mat and I will just do all of these sections, and then I'll grab the next one and do all of these sections, and I'm just sewing fairly quickly. I'll turn, and I won't, when I turn it, I won't worry too much about, I don't cut the thread in between. One mat's done, I do the next one, and then I'll do the trimming. Then I'll, figure out exactly where my sides need to be, because once I get this fairly even, I usually, how I trimmed at the beginning? I usually don't do that till the end, because then I know exactly where this is, and I'm using the strips to manage the space. And then I'll go back through and I will, what I usually do, and this might sound strange, I'll tack down this part and I'll put it aside. And then I'll do that for all of them. And finally, I'll go through all of them and I'll put, I'll do the final step. Mostly I do it that way because they each require a different skill that I'm using, and it just seems to me to go faster. So, if you liked this, and I hope you did, please consider, please just hit subscribe and hit the like button. And, I love to hear your comments. If you have a better way of doing this, I would love to hear it. But all in all, I'm pretty happy with this. I think I could use this for Christmas. I think I can use this for Valentine's Day and for spring. I think this one can be any time of the year, and I kind of like doing it that way. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.